Imagine this. It's a hot, humid day in Fortaleza, Brazil, back in August 2005. This coastal city in the northeast of the country is known for its beaches, vibrant culture, and unfortunately, a fair share of crime. But nothing could prepare the folks at the Banco Central, the central bank of Brazil, for what was about to go down. We're talking about one of the most audacious bank heists in history, where a gang of clever thieves dug a massive 256-foot tunnel right under the bank's nose and made off with nearly $70 million overnight. No guns, no hostages, just pure ingenuity and a whole lot of dirt. Let's set the scene. Fortaleza isn't some sleepy town. It's a bustling metropolis with over 2 million people. The Banco Central branch there isn't your average neighborhood bank either. It's a fortress designed to hold the country's currency reserves. Think stacks of cash waiting to be distributed or destroyed if they're too worn out. The vault itself is a beast, buried deep underground, with walls made of steel reinforced concrete over 3 feet thick. Alarms, cameras, motion sensors, you name it, they had it, or so they thought. Now, enter the masterminds. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment job by amateurs. The gang was led by a guy named Luis Fernando Ribeiro, a sharp operator with a background in construction and a knack for big ideas. He assembled a crew of about 25 people, including engineers, diggers, and even some with ties to organized crime. Their plan? Don't blast through the front door. Instead, go under everything. They figured out the bank's layout by studying public records and maybe even bribing insiders, though that's never been fully proven. To pull this off without raising eyebrows, they needed a cover. So, in May 2005, they rented a house just a block away from the bank, about 256 feet as the crow flies, or as the tunnel digs. They turned it into a fake landscaping business called Grama Sintética, which means synthetic grass in Portuguese. Picture this: trucks coming and going, hauling out dirt from landscaping jobs. But really, that was the soil from their underground excavation. Neighbors saw guys working hard, installing fake turf samples in the yard, and thought nothing of it. It was the perfect disguise in a city where construction is everywhere. Digging started in earnest. The tunnel was no crude hole, it was an engineering marvel, 80 meters long, about 4 feet high and 2 feet wide, lined with wood panels and plastic sheeting to prevent collapses. They installed electric lights, a ventilation system with fans to pump in fresh air, and even rails to cart out the dirt. We're talking over 80 tons of soil removed, bit by bit, over 3 months. These guys worked in shifts, 24/7, using picks, shovels, and small drills to keep noise down. They had to navigate under streets, sewers, and power lines without hitting anything that could alert authorities. By early August, they were ready. The tunnel ended right under the vault floor. All that stood between them and the cash was that thick concrete slab. But they'd planned for that. 2 high-powered drills and patience would get them through. Friday, August 5, 2005. It's a typical weekend in Fortaleza. People heading to the beach, bars filling up, nobody paying attention to a quiet street near the central bank. Inside that fake landscaping house, though, the mood is electric. After 3 months of digging, sweating, and praying nobody noticed the constant hum of ventilation fans, the crew is finally ready to breach the vault. They wait until nightfall. Around p.m., a small team of 6 slips into the tunnel carrying duffel bags, headlamps, and the heavy-duty drills they'd been hiding under fake grass rolls. The air down there is thick and damp, but the fans keep it breathable. Crawling single file, they reach the end of the 256-foot tunnel in about 15 minutes. Right above their heads, 3.3 feet of steel reinforced concrete, and the floor of one of the most secure vaults in South America. The drilling starts slow and careful. They use diamond-tipped bits in water to cool the blades and kill the noise. Even then, it's nerve-wracking. Every vibration feels like it could set off an alarm. But here's the crazy part. The bank's seismic sensors were calibrated for explosions or heavy impacts, not the low, steady hum of a drill chewing through concrete for hours. The robbers knew that. They'd done their homework. By midnight, they've cut a hole roughly 2 feet wide, big enough for a man to squeeze through. One by one, they climb up into the vault itself. Imagine the moment. Headlamps sweep across mountains of cash. Not loose bills, but neat bricks of 50 real notes wrapped in plastic, stacked on pallets like supermarket cereal boxes. Each brick weighs about 2 pounds and is worth around $20,000 USD at the time. The gang had hit the mother lode, 3,500 kilos of banknotes, roughly 164.7 million reais, worth about $70 million US dollars in 2005 money. They work fast. No celebrate, no counting, just stuffing. Heavy-duty bags get filled, lowered back through the hole with ropes, then dragged on makeshift sleds all the way back to the house. Trip after trip after trip. The whole operation inside the vault takes less than 5 hours. By Saturday, the last guy is out. The hole is patched with quick dry cement to hide the breach, and the tunnel entrance inside the house is sealed behind a fake wall panel. Saturday morning rolls around like nothing happened. The fake landscaping company even opens for business as usual, guys drinking coffee on the porch, pretending to take phone orders for artificial turf. Meanwhile, down in the basement, millions of dollars are stacked floor to ceiling, waiting to be cleaned. Across the street, the bank is closed for the weekend. Nobody checks the vault on Saturdays or Sundays. That's 2 full days before anyone even realizes something's wrong. 2 days for the crew to start moving the cash out in vans hidden under tarps, labeled garden supplies. Monday, August 8, 2005. 8:30 a.m. A normal workday is about to start at the Banco Central branch in Fortaleza. Armored trucks are lining up outside. Employees are grabbing coffee, and the security guards do their usual routine. One of them heads down to the vault to prepare for the day's cash movements. He punches in the codes, swings open the massive steel door, and steps inside. Then he freezes. The floor has a weird patch of fresh cement in the middle. Tools are scattered. Pallets that should be groaning under the weight of old 50 real notes are half empty. Some are completely bare. The guy yells for his supervisor. Within minutes, the entire building is in chaos. Phones are ringing off the hook to Brasilia headquarters. Police flood the street. When the final count comes in, the number makes jaws drop nationwide. 164.7 million reais, roughly $70 million US dollars gone, vanished. The biggest bank robbery in Brazilian history, and nobody heard a single gunshot. Detectives swarm the vault. They quickly spot the patched hole, it open, and shine flashlights down. There it is, a perfectly engineered tunnel disappearing into the darkness. They crawl through, stunned at the quality wooden beams, electric wiring, air vents, even little drainage channels for groundwater. One cop reportedly said it looked like something built by the army, not common criminals. By noon, the police are at the fake grass house. The crew had vanished hours earlier, but they left clues everywhere. Coffee cups with fingerprints, cigarette butts, a couple of shovels, and best of all, the business sign still hanging out front. Neighbors suddenly remember the trucks that were always hauling dirt at weird hours. The cover story collapses in minutes. Now, the race is on to catch the robbers and recover the cash. Police set up roadblocks, raid known criminal hangouts, and freeze bank accounts across the Northeast. They know the money is mostly in used 50 real notes, harder to trace than new bills, but still a nightmare to launder in those quantities. Word spreads fast on the street. If you suddenly see someone paying for a beer with a crisp 50 real bill that's actually old and worn, you might be looking at tunnel money. Meanwhile, the gang is scattering. Some head to Sao Paulo, others to Paraguay, a famous spot for moving dirty cash, and a few just disappear into the interior. Luis Fernando Ribeiro, the leader, reportedly rents a nice farm outside town and starts living large new cars, parties, the works. That's the first mistake arrogance always makes. Within weeks, kidnappings start happening. One gang member, Antonio Aldair, gets snatched off the street. A few days later, his body turns up in a ditch, hands tied, shot in the head. Then another, and another. The money is cursed, people say. Greed is turning friends into enemies real fast. By late 2005, the tunnel money was burning holes in pockets and lighting up graves. At least 20 people connected to the robbery diggers, drivers, money launderers. Even a couple of girlfriends ended up kidnapped or dead. Most were tortured first, fingers broken, teeth pulled, blowtorches to the feet. The question was always the same: where's your cut? Criminal factions from São Paulo, the infamous PCC, smelled the cash and wanted their piece. Paraguay's border smugglers wanted theirs. Everyone was hunting. Everyone. Police finally got their first big break in October 2005. A low-level digger named Moises Teixeira got greedy, bought a brand new Toyota Hilux in cash, and started bragging in bars. 2 days later, he was grabbed outside his mother's house. The kidnappers dumped him alive, barely, with a message carved into his chest. But before they tossed him, Moises gave up a name: Luis Fernando Ribeiro, the boss living large on a farm in Barro de Melgal. November 3, 2005. Federal police and an elite Bo squad raided the farm at dawn. They expected a shootout. Instead, they found Ribeiro calm as hell, drinking coffee on the veranda. Officers recovered 4.3 million reais hidden in false walls, plus a fleet of cars and a safe full of gold jewelry. Ribeiro smirked, said almost nothing, and let the cuffs click on. He knew the real danger wasn't the cops. It was the guys still looking for the other 95% of the money. Over the next 2 years, the arrests rolled in like dominoes. More than 100 people eventually charged. Police seized luxury apartments in São Paulo, beach houses in Sear, even a private helicopter. Total recovered just over 20 million reais, about $9 million USD at the time. The rest vanished into Paraguay, Bolivia, fake businesses, or simply buried in backyards that nobody's found yet. The trials were a circus. Witnesses disappeared. One judge received a coffin at his house. In the end, around 40 people went to prison, sentences ranging from 8 to 49 years. Luis Fernando Ribeiro got 49. He's still inside today, quietly serving his time in a federal penitentiary, smiling in every mugshot like he knows something the rest of us don't. As for the tunnel itself, the city turned that fake grass house into a tourist attraction for a hot minute. People lined up to crawl through the hole. Eventually they demolished it. The bank reinforced the vault floor with steel plates and motion sensors that can now detect a mouse sneeze. Almost 20 years later, old cops in Fortaleza still say the same thing. Most of that $70 million is still out there. Every few years, a farmer plows up a plastic drum full of moldy 50 real notes, or construction workers find a suspicious concrete box under someone's garage. The curse never really lifted. It just went quiet. And that, folks, is how a bunch of regular guys with shovels pulled off the perfect heist, and why nobody's ever dared to copy it since.